Hello. So today I want to talk to you about Quiltable, the card game. And this game is divine if you love a thinky, patterny, puzzly game. So I've seen people talk about this and like, oh my gosh, quilting is so cozy, but this game is so thinky. No, you have clearly not quilted. Quilted is very thinky. You have to be very precise. If you get off by an eighth or a 16th of an inch when you're sewing that many pieces, things can go terribly wrong. I enjoy quilting. It is not because it is just so easy and, go with the flow. No, you have to think a lot. And I think that theme translates into this game. So the way that it works is you have these double-sided cards. On one side of the card is a pattern of some sort of item. And on the other side of the card is the patterns you are going to try and make within your quilt to score points at the end of the game. So if I can get AA, BB, or essentially 2 cards of one type and 2 cards of another type next to each other in my quilt, I'm going to score 5 points. If I can do that a second time, I will score an additional 5 points, but I can only use each card in my quilt to count towards the objective one time. So you can't be like, oh, this card I can use here and here and here. It doesn't work that way. So you are creating a quilt that is going to end up being 4 by 4. So in the center, and the number of cards you use is based on player count, but I'll just show you this. So in the center, you will have 4 stacks of pattern cards. And these people will be able to take as one of their options for that turn. You have 3 choices of turn options, and there is a little turn reference card. It is a 1 to 4 player game, so I wish there were 4 turn reference cards, but there's just 1. So you can plan, meaning you take one of these patterns and you're hoping to score that by the end of the game. You can choose, which is where you're going to get to take 2 to 3 of the quilting squares, or you can return, which is where you can actually return connected pieces from your existing quilt to the center because maybe you don't want some of those pieces. Maybe they are messing up a pattern that you have going on, but you will have pieces out around the outside of these pattern cards, and these are what you're getting to take. So on my turn, if I am doing the action where I get to take 2 to 3 cards, which is the choose action, I have to take 2 to 3 connected cards and I have to leave them connected the way they are. So if I took these 3, then these 3 are coming with me in a straight line and they must stay in this orientation. Now I can turn them vertically because then they're still that way, but I can't rearrange them. I also could take from the corner, but I can't rearrange within the corner. So I can rotate it as a whole. This is where it gets thinky and brain burny and puzzly. And I'm putting this into my 4x4 grid to try and complete these different pattern objectives that I'm taking. And then let's say, move that out of the way. Let's say I have some things going on in my quilt. And let's say that I really don't like that the pumpkin is here. Let's say I really need something else there. So for my turn, one of the options is return it. So I can take this and assuming there's room, I can return it to the outside of the option cards, which I could then pick up in the future or someone else could pick up. And I now have this option. So those are your options. You take a pattern card, you take quilting blocks, or you return connected quilting blocks. And that thing where it has to all be connected and stay the way it was, that's where all of the thinking comes in. And there are so many different pattern objectives that you can collect. Obviously, easier objectives are going to be worth, oh, look, hey, there, oh, I thought that was a double corn. It's a double flower. But there's going to be an objective for a double corn. So you could potentially score some of the easier ones more than once and get points that way. But again, based on player count, you're only playing with a certain number of cards. So you don't know for sure what patterns or what quilt blocks are going to be included. There's also an advanced mode where you can play with one of these players and you will have their power and ability to help you out throughout the game. The advanced mode also lets you use, there's these little patch symbols around the board. Let's see. Would these ones even connect? So you play with where you're trying to get the patches to line up onto different spots. So they are always in the same spots, but where you want like the acorn and the corn, the patches now line up. So that's going to potentially score me additional points when I can get more things to line up within my quilt. So there's a lot of ways that you can make this thinky game even thinkier. There is a symmetry option where you're literally trying to get your quilt to be symmetrical, all the directions or one of the directions based on how you're playing. So there's a lot going on in this game. It looks like a really simple card game on the surface, but when you start playing it, you realize it is a very thinky game. It has an excellent solo mode where you are going up against one of these specific quilters, and they will have different ways that they score, and you can do that with both the regular and the advanced modes. So I like this game on the solo mode a lot because it could lead to some analysis paralysis if you have someone who's really thinky and really wants to optimize. So I think this is a great puzzle game to play solo because then you're not having to worry about how long each turn is taking. I love this game. Deceptively simple looking, very thinky and puzzly, which is one of my favorite types of games. So if you enjoy puzzly games, check out Quiltable. This was a copy that was gifted to me, and I am so grateful that it was because I really, really enjoyed it. Give me a like and a follow, and I'll keep bringing you more board game content. Thanks. Bye.